Do you ever spend an hour or even more working on an email, composing the perfect subject line, making sure the links all work, or working on a social media post and the caption and all that kind of stuff, and then crickets? You don't get the response you were hoping for out of your content. On this Word Made Digital tutorial, we're going to talk about how to increase engagement. Hello my friends, welcome to Word Made Digital Tutorials. I'm your host Joanna LaFleur, and week after week we're bringing you tutorials as ministry leaders, as church communicators, as digital content creators in order to help you communicate the best news in the world. And so these wouldn't be possible without support and sponsorship from Compassion Canada and the Canadian Centre for Christian Charity. So thank you so much to them for making these possible week after week, getting this tutorial content in front of you to help and support you. On this tutorial, we're talking about engagement, how to increase engagement, especially in your emails, but we're also going to be talking about a little bit about how to increase your engagement in social media in general. There's a lot that can be said about how to increase engagement on your emails, your social media, and other platforms that you're trying to produce content. And actually, perhaps in the future, if you're interested, we could do a whole series just on this topic. We'd love to bring you more content that's useful and helpful. But in this episode, as an introduction, I've invited my friend Kenny Jang to join us. And Kenny is from New York City, and he's a brilliant mind that kind of goes behind the scenes with lots of ministries and churches to help kind of give some therapy to them as they figure out how to do digital better. And so we're going to jump into this conversation with Kenny, and I think he has a lot to offer us, some practical insights in how to do engagement. Kenny Jang, welcome to Word Made Digital Tutorials. First question for you. You have degrees from very fancy universities like Princeton. Why are you using your brain to help ministries and to help churches?
First of all, God is someone who deserves excellence in everything that we do. Not that my paperwork shows anything in terms of connection with the output that I have. But yeah, I think from my point of view, I've pursued education because I wanted to actually soak in best practices and learn from the best in every industry. And that doesn't mean that it's just from seminary, right? Princeton Seminary, Columbia Business School, Duke University, etc. Those are the places where the thought leadership is privileged and elevated, typically. And so I think formal education is something that I tend to, I guess, in this culture where people say the education system is broken, etc. I think that if you seek out education in the right manner and you take ownership of education, that the rewards are plenty. But the answer to your question is God deserves more of us. God deserves our best, and to pursue that with excellence is just one of the strategies for me in my personal education journey.
Love it. It's something we both we have in common, is that we love education and why we want to do these tutorials to educate as many people as we can.
It's the mindset though, right, Joanna? It's that you are a lifelong learner. I'm a lifelong learner, and that's our kinship of what actually connected us throughout the years. And I think this is the mindset that we want to continue to share with others, that you must continue to learn, improve, and iterate so that you can do better going forward.
100%. So, okay, one of the questions, of course, we get over and over as people who help churches is, how do I increase engagement? How do I get more likes? How do I get more shares? How do I get more followers? How do I get more comments? Just like people are watching my live stream on Sundays, but nobody's talking back to me. So would just love some insight from you, some things that you recommend practically people do to increase engagement.
Yeah, so I think off the cuff, I would say there's two things. One is, I always say, you're writing for the wrong me. You're publishing for the wrong me, typically. Organizations publish for themselves, the me, right? When you're out there doing social media, when you're blogging, when you're vlogging, etc., many people vlog or blog or publish for themselves. They're doing it for themselves. They're not doing it for you, the person that's actually receiving it. And I think that has to be, you even need to say the word you, right? Instead of saying about me, it has to be about you, and not being afraid to address somebody. The second thing is that I think we're in this conundrum where technology is actually useful to scale personal relationships, but we're not using technology to scale personal relationships. We're using technology to scale mass relationships. And I think that's the wrong approach. And that when I send out an email to 10,000 people on my list, or send out a tweet to 30,000 people, you have to stop thinking about it in mass reach, but that I'm reaching Joanna with the email. What would I write to Joanna with that email, or with that tweet, or with that vlog, etc.? And you got to get out of the one-to-many when you're publishing and think about one-to-one when you're publishing. I think that's the number one rule that I think people are missing in today's day and world.
So if you're emailing 10,000 people, but you want it to feel like and sound like one-to-one, what would be some things you did in that email, or how in that communication piece?
One of the things that we do with the coaching teams, we actually have a clinic style at the very beginning to diagnose things. Because everyone has emails that they have to send out to their list, right? Everyone bring 2 or 3 of the most recent emails that you sent out to your list, and let's read them out loud. And then let's have a show of hands, heads down, thumbs up, right? It's the old school method. Without shaming you, let's figure out how many people in the room actually would read that email. And most of the time, it's the minority of the people in the room. It's not the clear majority. How many people would actually forward that email to somebody else on their team? It's not. You're not giving radical value to the person. The second one is, you'll catch it, especially when you're reading out loud, that you're addressing the people, you all. You're addressing masses in your email. You're not using one-to-one language. And so again, you have to literally use the word YOU. That type of mentality. I need to be writing an email to you. So if I wrote an email to Joanna LaFleur every single week, if I had correspondence with you every single week, what would I write? And what would it be? Would it be meaningful? Would it actually have some personality to it? Would it actually have some value to it? Would it be all about me all the time? Probably wouldn't. And so we're violating all these rules of personal relationship when we're trying to get mass relationship.
And so it's things even you would say probably like address it from a person. Don't say it's from, ABC company. Say it's from Kenny.
Absolutely. Let me give you a mini case study of what happened. So that in one coaching scenario with a church team, they had a role called a connections coordinator on every single campus. And the emails came out from the church from info@ and the name of the church, generic role-based email. And then one of the things that I've pushed them, and we changed it so that the emails, again, instead of one email list to 7,000 people, they had to create several emails split by campuses. It's pretty much the same email, split by campuses, coming from the name of the church connections coordinator. After a month of doing this, of weekly emails coming from a person, that person on that campus, one of the staff meetings, one of the connections coordinator was complaining at the staff meeting that we have to figure out a different way to start emailing people because I'm getting too many people replying to these weekly emails, asking me questions. It's taking up too much of my time. The people are just have incessantly asking me for things, but they know who I am. And so you can see you're right now think it's a joke, or you can feel that you sense it that you're laughing, because the irony is your job is to connect people, and you're complaining because too many people want to connect with you. And so, but it was just that literal one change. We didn't change subject lines, which is the most important sentence in your email. We didn't change the content. We didn't change the rhythm. We literally just changed who it's coming from. And within a month, the connections coordinator felt the difference.
Wow. Okay, so what would you say then in the social media side of things? Just a last tip, what would be something you advise for people who want to see more interaction in 2021 on their posts? Of course, the algorithms change all the time, but what do you think people need to pay attention to in 2021?
Okay, I'm going to sneak in two. One is you got to build a funnel. So you got to understand that the one tweet, the one Instagram post, the reel, that is not the one bullet that you have, that you must build a stream and continuation of that conversation. So you need to have what we call a funnel, so that you actually capture their information on a permission-based method, and that you can have a conversation and follow through. Second one is consistency. The rule of consistency is violated all the time, and that's where you fall apart in terms of engagement. You might have radically good content, but if you show up just once whenever, just for fluke, some random schedule, it doesn't work. You must show up every day.
Kenny, there's so much more. Where do people find you if they want to work with you, they want to learn from you? Where should they go?
Well, you can, again, I invite engagement. Follow me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram by my namesake handle, Kenny Jang. You can look me up, and you can also join our Facebook group, Church Communications on Facebook. We got over 27,000 people clamoring away, helping each other and learning together. So those are some ways you can get in touch with me.
Awesome. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks so much to Kenny Jang for joining on this tutorial. You can see by how he's dedicated his life and his work and his education to pursue serving the church. And he does that because we really believe that the church is the best news in the world. So we want to help you be the best communicators in the world. Now, the big idea that I hope you take away from this tutorial is that you want to think about engagement by engaging with real people, individuals who have names and thoughts and feelings and ideas. If you talk to people like they're part of a massive group, or you're talking to people like they're not people, like you're just pushing out information against a wall, it's never going to give you the results that you're hoping for. So if you take anything from this, think about what it would be like to get an email from a friend, to hear an update of news from someone who's close to you, who's someone you feel connected to. That's the kind of thing that you want to do. And just as Kenny suggested, maybe even consider reading some of your content out loud in a group format with some of your team. Get together and see how it feels to receive that kind of content. Is that something that you would engage with? Is it something that you would actually want? Well, I hope and we hope that this tutorial content is helpful to you and to your team. Share these videos around, pass them to somebody that you know who's working on the same struggles that you have, so that you can share some camaraderie, and we can provide you with some tools and resources to make you better at what you do. Thank you so much to Compassion Canada, who's been a part of this tutorial series from the very beginning. They are an amazing organization who's serving the most vulnerable children around the world. And in this holiday season, if you're still looking for gifts for someone, go to compassion.ca/gifts, and there's an amazing opportunity there to give someone a gift that's memorable, fun, meaningful, creative, and can make a huge difference in the life of a child around the world. They love the church, they serve through the church. You, the church, can be part of making a difference. And thanks also, of course, to the Canadian Centre for Christian Charities and all the work that they're doing to support ministry across the nation of Canada. They have 3,300 members across the country and growing. Maybe you're a member, or maybe you're thinking about becoming a member. They can help you with all kinds of stuff that you may not already have on your own staff team. We're talking about board governance issues and legal help and HR and financial things, and just a number of things that you may not have expertise at. You're the expert at doing the ministry, and they can be the expert at coming alongside to support you in these extra resource areas. So check out the website below for more information. Okay, we'll see you next week for another Word Made Digital tutorial.